Pretty unbelievable that it has been 20 years since National Treasure graced cinemas in America. This is a movie that is a amazing adventure film that pays homage to the founding of this country in 1776. And it is a fun love letter to the history of America. You don't overthink it. It's not trying to be a commentary on past transgressions or terrible things. It's just fun. It's great to love America with this movie, and I can't believe that literally this movie came out 20 years ago. Rembo. We've talked about this movie previously. This is a big movie amongst our family and a subject of much fun within the dialogue, within the characters, within the actors, and this is a genre that you believe has been long forgotten, the adventure genre.
It's for sure the most slept on genre. When done right, I don't think there's anything more fun to do than sit down and watch just a kind of an A to B adventure film. I think it's the best. And I think National Treasure sits pretty comfortably in the top 5 of all time. I in no particular order. I tried thinking about the order of how I would order these, but it's a little tough. But in no particular order, Indiana Jones 1, Indiana Jones 3, this movie, The Mummy, and then 5 could be any sort of. I'm gonna put Pirates of the Caribbean 1 in there. But you could make an argument for The Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn. You could make an argument for Muppets Treasure Island. There's a lot of other movies you could make arguments for, but I think that's a good, well-rounded top 5 sort of movies where it's just there's not a lot of them, but when they're done well, they're the best. And I think this is no exception. This movie kicks ass from the minute it starts.
Jason, you were talking previously about how much you hate America. Why do you hate this movie and this country as a whole?
My review of the Da Vinci Code. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My review of Indiana Jones and the Declaration of Independence. No. Okay, I'm sorry. My review of National Treasure. Yes, that's right. That's the movie we're talking about. Remy, it's funny you like this genre. This is a subgenre of adventure movies called treasure hunting movies, which I I think is they all just do the exact same thing, which it's not a bad thing. This is speed, but we're finding clues along the way that this bus is heading towards the inevitable defeat of everyone on it. So it's funny. Like as I'm watching this 2004, right? 2004 movie, I'm reminded of the 90s, the classic time of adventure and swashbuckling and
I'm hating every single thing you're saying. You're trying to boil this genre down to, it's all the same. Mr. I love anime. Mr. I love the sentient toaster that kills the princess who was a demon deep down below. Don't talk to me about tropes within genres, Jason.
Oh my God. No. It was your sister over my shoulder being how much this was a nostalgia movie for you guys and quoting it and stuff like that, whereas definitely wasn't that for me. It's fun. You're absolutely right from beginning to end. Very, I don't want to say believable because you're not like finding out what's going to happen before these guys do or where the actual treasure is at the end. But yeah, it was just very reminiscent of that style. And it looks like that's a good thing for you guys, but not such a good thing for me.
It's a group of lovable rogues that go searching not just for the treasure itself, but for an altruistic purpose. Led by the great Nicolas Cage, who...
Yeah, lovable rogues. You're absolutely right. The cast, let me get that in there real quick. The cast is what kills this movie for me. So please keep going on that. Yes, please harp.
Well, that's what's... Remy mentioned The Mummy. Brendan Fraser is just the image in that movie of the leading man. Like, that is what a leading man looks like, sounds like, acts like. Just super masculine, just very confident, still makes a lot of mistakes, but what wins in the end... That's kind of the leading man. Nicolas Cage, he doesn't look like Indiana Jones. He's not Harrison Ford, but he has the perfect charisma and character in this movie. that he is.
And still good looking. Don't he's good looking in this movie.
But
Yes.
he again, like if you're going traditional action hero,
He's
not
more of an everyday
not
man.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yes, like Remy said, he's more of an everyday looking guy, but he doesn't go crazy Nicolas Cage, like I'm just gonna act insane or I'm gonna do these crazy. Like he is just very is charming and has very great chemistry with his castmates. This is a movie. I should say the plot line of this movie is basically there is a giant treasure that has been passed along for centuries from conquering army to conquering army, and the founding fathers of America took this army and they knew that, or took this treasure and they knew that the treasure was too great for any one man to have possession of, so it needed to be broken up or it needed to be preserved by many people, much like the government of this country, as they mentioned in the film. And so we watch not just Nicolas Cage go on this adventure with his friends, but also the antagonist of this movie, Sean Bean, the lovable Sean Bean, it's not missed on me that they never mention any type of politics or anything other than it's great that Nicolas Cage, all-American Nicolas Cage, is the protagonist that's trying to save America and save the treasure of this country and save the Constitution that is being heisted. But Sean Bean, the British man,
the
is
dirty
the
red
villain.
coat. The dirty red coat.
It's not lost to me that the British guy is the bad guy in this. They never mention it, but I love that. Remy, Sean
Yes,
Bean being
that's
the
so
villain
good.
in this really does bring the movie together.
He's an awesome villain for as simple as he is. They don't go over the top with him where he's like crazy evil and he wants to, and he like he's like an anarchist or something and he hates the what the US stands for, and he's not like a murderous psychopath. Like he's just right in the just like the perfect combination of just feels like he's I guess he's not one step ahead. He's just one step in line. No matter what they do, he's always right there on their tail at every single corner. And it's cool that he's finding out things in different ways. He's just like very resourceful. Has a good little group of thugs that are like mostly forgettable, except for the bald guy. Sean? No, what? Is his name Sean?
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's an awesome. He's just like I said, he's not over the top in any one way. Just classic good Sean Bean performance. And yeah, like Jason said before we started recording, doesn't die, which is like the craziest thing is that Sean Bean played a villain and he didn't die. I mean, that might be the only movie he's ever done that for.
And he survived.
Sean Bean, who did not die. Aw, isn't that swell? So the movie is one of the great things, and the difference between this and say Indiana Jones is that in Indiana Jones Last Crusade, there's a dynamic between Indiana Jones and his father, played by Sean Connery, and the father is the one that is leading the search on trying to find the treasure and always looking for the cup of Christ. And in this movie, the father figure, played by Jon Voight, is the guy that spent 20 years searching, gave up, and was like, this is a waste of time. And he is the counter to Nicolas Cage's just unabashed searching for the fortune and glory. And he is always trying to quell that. And it makes a great dynamic because instead of the father figure that's encouraging, this is the father figure that is just, you are wasting your time. Much more realistic, I would say. Jason, the story of this movie of the Gates family did you buy in at least to kind of the lore they build of the Americana, of the Benjamin Franklin and all of the kind of these the Masons of America's past? Did you buy into any of that, or is it just a bunch of adventure nonsense for you?
Oh, 100. This was better than any history class I think I took throughout most of my childhood. No, honestly, it had been a while since I'd seen this movie. So, I mean, of course, when it first came out, probably a couple years afterwards, but yeah, 10 years or something plus since. So there was a little bit that I had forgotten. So I was actually on the ride a little bit of like, ooh, what it does happen next? Oh yeah, the glasses. That's right. And then the next thing that goes along. So you're right. No matter if you're a fan or hating on this movie when you're getting in, if you're that grumbling grandpa in the corner, like when this movie's going on, you start to like focus once the movie starts just going. You know, it's nonstop. So yeah, no, it's very cool. It's a very huge information dump in the very beginning of the history, and then the family, and then the fact they've been ridiculed throughout history of that they think this treasure is here, and you want them to come out good in the end. And it's when they are all like crying and hugging and seeing this treasure at the end, you're crying and hugging on the couch, being like, I didn't think they'd do it, but they did at the end. So no, it's like, and it's a good movie to review during this time of the year, like when families sitting around the couch during the holidays. It's that perfect one. So no, it's a fun ride, slightly believable and slightly the trope, but the cast is what kills it in this one, and you just want to keep seeing. I mean, Keitel, old Harvey Keitel. I mean, it's between him, John Voight, and Nicolas Cage. Like every time they're on the screen, you're like, who's going to give the better performance out of the three? You know.
Rem, the central thing that I think puts the movie up a notch is the music, the soundtrack. It's so epic, adventure filled with a little bit of Americana in there, but not too much. It's not like playing, like the drums and like colonial, it's not that. It is very early 2000s, but it's not like as aged as The Matrix. Like there is this level of where the music still works today, and it's so epic, and it really hypens the biggest parts of this movie.
I love the score of this movie. It sounds so much like a Hans Zimmer score to me. It's not. It's by some guy named Trevor Rabin. I like when I pulled it up because I remember like when we were talking about the score, I was like, the score is so fucking good. And then I look him up and I'm like, oh, I don't even know this guy's name. But he's done several good movies. He did the score for Remember the Titans, which is a great score.
It sounded very like, Remember the Titans-y.
Yeah, I was gonna say and
that's interesting. Yeah, Mimi said the same thing actually.
I assume there's probably multiple, because they're both Disney movies. I assume there's probably multiple production crossovers there. Like as far as because just even the
Bruckheimer is in
that?
both.
Oh yeah,
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
He uses the same guy.
So, but yeah, he did Remember the Titans. He did Snakes on a Plane, Glory Road, Gridiron Gang.
Snakes on a Plane.
Just like a bunch of random movies that you wouldn't expect, but like it's fantastic, and it just hits every scene from the very beginning when it's building the importance of the treasure. And that's what's cool is because if you're an American watching this movie, it brings so much more to the meaning of the treasure. It's not just, oh, here's some random ass pirates that had treasure. It's like, this is like treasure that's interwoven into the foundation of the history of this country, which makes it just that much more interesting and meaningful for the context of the movie. So that's why I feel like you buy in so much more when he's given that speech at the end or the beginning. And this movie does an amazing job of making Masons look cool and not like fucking weirdos in their own day. But that's for a separate podcast. But after this movie ends, you're like, yeah, Freemasons, that's cool.
That's a whole nother,
that's a whole reading off scrolls in giant rooms.
Yeah, it's a whole nother conversation on that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a Freemason, mostly because maybe my favorite adventure movie, The Man Who Would Be King, which also features Christopher Plummer, and he's a Freemason in that. The main characters are Freemasons, and they're all brothers under God with Freemasonry, and he is the grandfather at the beginning of this movie. And there's a few great shots in this movie that really stand out, and the one when he says treasure beyond, and the camera fades and it's his eye over the pyramid as it's showing like the history as he's telling young Nicolas Cage the story. It's wonderful. That was a great touch. Jason, what other stands out about this movie? Is there anything that you'd like to bring up that detracts from this movie, or why it's not necessarily as transcendent for you as it is for us?
I mean, believable. I keep wanting to say that word, but I mean, it's not. You know, you don't see what they're gonna go to next, but it's that classic just of okay, they get to this spot, and at the house they're gonna unfold the declaration and use lemon juice and a hair dryer, and then John Voight's gonna pop his head in and be like, hey, what you guys doing in here? I want to help, and then the cops show up, but we're at the next spot. It's just one of those where it's a trope, yeah, like you said in the very beginning. So you know what's going to happen, but you don't know the instances that it's going to do the breadcrumb trail along that. And so no, it's fun. It's fun. It's nothing that I'm going to come out of this now have some conversation at the dinner table about that it spawns some great conversation or whatnot. So it's a fun movie, and I thought the show was a little bit more deep, and we talked about like deeper things inside movies rather than just some fun. This is where you enter in movie that I suggest that was total horseshit that we talked about, sort of thing. So it's funny, because a lot of the show we talk about nostalgic stuff for you guys. Like I think of Muppets, what's it called? Which one? The Muppets that we do.
Well, Muppets is an objectively perfect movie. I don't know what sort of
Exactly.
nostalgia
I'm
you're
getting the
trying to wrap into
same
that,
sort of
Jason.
vibes from when we
Just
watched
got
Muppets: A
confused.
Christmas Carol or the Treasure one. What's the Treasure Muppets?
Muppets Treasure Island.
Yeah, Treasure Island. Yes, like this. Like this is one of those movies that you guys grew up on and fucking just loved and quoted around the house, and I'm like in the back, like trying to like catch up on this this family trend that you guys got. But no, enjoyable, but it hits a different mark for me than you guys.
No, there are some moments of like where it's like that's very convenient, and yeah, if you want to pick apart the movie, it's definitely you can pick apart the movie.
We do not need to. It's a great movie.
Don't
We
need
do
to
not
pick apart the
it.
movie.
Yeah.
But the Remy and I's favorite one that we always talk about is someone's got to go to prison, Ben. Someone's got to go to prison. Just the contrivance of, hey guys, what am I gonna do? Someone's got to go to prison. That's the whole like build. That is the whole strain on from Harvey Keitel that he's putting on Nicolas Cage, is that he keeps telling him someone has to go to jail, and it's just like, oh well, someone's got to go to jail. Like, got to figure it out. Someone's got to go. Oh, we got a guy. We got a guy. Sean Bean can go to jail.
And what is Nicolas Cage's response? You got a helicopter, and that's all he
That's
needs.
all he needs.
And I got a guy for you.
Not the local branch that's in Boston. We'll fly the whole crew out there. We'll pop champagnes. We got him, guys. Someone's going to jail.
Not I need a phone. I need a helicopter. I have to be there in person. Yeah.
So yeah, this movie. What would you rate it? What would you? How would you recommend this movie, Rembo?
This movie is, oh God, can I?
He's struggling. He's struggling with it.
I am trying to be objective here. If I'm being
Yeah, I see
objective.
the nostalgia. Your past has weighed heavily upon your decisions. And
This movie's a 9.
Love
dude.
it.
It's,
I fucking
it's
love
so good.
Okay.
I fully buy into this movie being a 9 because it's nonstop entertaining for 2 hours 15 minutes. This movie nonstop, no pacing issues, great cast, no annoying characters. Like what's his face, Riley is the perfect lovable, like smart but doofus. Like has none of the physical abilities. Is like clearly out of his element. But not over the top. Just like a great, perfect little funny sidekick. The woman is not like some sort of like damsel in distress, like other than that initial scene when she's nearly kidnapped. But very like capable. Nicolas Cage oozing all of the best Nicolas Cage charm. Great. Everybody just nails it in this movie. And then the score is amazing. The story is fun. You get one clue right into the next, and you're along for the ride. This movie is absolute cinema. And I have nothing bad to say about this movie, other than you could say there's definitely like convenient things, of course, like just as simple as writing, just like they can just charge one guy all for everything that happened and like just completely forget that Nicolas Cage was involved in actually stealing the Declaration of Independence. That's not important. Just we got Sean Bean. We got this guy from Britain. So he's fine.
Dirty red coat. Pinned it on him. Me? Yes, I mean, yeah, it's a good movie. No, it's almost perfect, you know, and it's very just easy. It's holidays. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. It's all the Da Vinci. I mean, Da Vinci Code, the book came out the year before, and then this movie came out, you know, and this wasn't based on a book or anything like that. They were like, ooh, Da Vinci Code, good. Let's write a movie, but America stuff about that. And then the movie came out like, what, 2005 or 6, I think, for Da Vinci Code after that. So they might have like beat some of this genre to the punch, but great movie. I mean, I don't disagree with what anything Remy said. It is the cast. It is a fun, watchable. Like everyone can sit on the couch and enjoy this stuff. If you're looking for a family movie that you all can sit around and not offend anyone, checks that box. So no, recommend this. It's fun. Yeah, 9 out of 10 I think is a perfect score for this movie.
Yeah, I'll bump it all the way up to 9 out of 10 because I'm feeling the red, white, and blueness. But it's a refreshing throwback to movies where it's like it's not trying to commentate on anything of modern problems or politics or anything. It's just like, hey, let's just have a fantasy of enjoying in a vacuum what the foundation of this country was, mixed with an adventure treasure hunt. With British villain hot on the trail of our American lovable heroes. It's great. It's wonderful. Nicolas Cage crushes it. It's just him and perfectly contained with his charm and charisma, but not being too crazy. Harvey Keitel is great to be in. Basically, just playing the wolf from Pulp Fiction, but now he works for the feds, and he's tracking down
wearing the Mason ring the whole time.
Has the Mason ring, just great touch that he's a member. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie to watch leading up to the 250th birthday of America. America! Fuck yeah! And that's last pick.